Yeah, I'm reading your article, and the one thing that I'm getting this perception of, and this is me as a software developer, it's making me really nervous because, and working with John yesterday, I felt the same way. It's like we're taking the position of project managers, and you know, it's like, oh, we don't need to look at the code. We don't need to look. I'm like, Uh, I want to look at the code. I want to look at the tests. I want to write the tests. For me, the old timer test driven development guy is it's going to be a tough sell, I think. I don't know. Maybe I might not be able to adapt. Maybe I'm just an old dinosaur. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to find a way to have the confidence. I'm reading about, the building a dam, and I'm thinking, well, you could actually map that to when humans are building big, important constructs. They have a body of knowledge, and could an AI design a Hoover Dam? Could an AI design a building to be earthquake proof and such, or earthquake resistant? And it's the same kind of thing. It's like I want to know that I can trust what's being spit out the other end. Um, Obviously, for a silly game or something like that, it doesn't really matter unless there's money involved. But anyway, so that's my those are my introductory words.
Yeah, I mean it's funny I got a couple comments from people about that post that and have had conversations with other people in the agile world of like it sounds like waterfall's coming back for a lot of stuff, and I think
Mm,
that's kind of true of, get all the requirements done up front and
mhm.
then put it in the machine to uh, take care of those requirements. But
And let it
it's
crank him out.
yeah, the important part becomes, get all the requirements specified as, up front and cleared up, which I think, I imagine you don't build the Hoover Dam in an agile way either. It's kind of a big design up front kind of project.
Well, interesting. The Golden Gate Bridge was apparently a little bit more, quote unquote, agile than we would expect.
Really?
Yeah, they apparently they were sinking those. I don't know, the two big towers. They started building out how they were going to sink those into what they thought was bedrock, and then it turned out that on one side there was no bedrock. Um, it was all very soft, so they had to like create a moat around an area of the bay, dig out a whole bunch of goo, put in concrete, and then they could build it. And so as they were building it, they were adapting. And this is kind of the core thinking here is that even in engineering, you have to be able to uh, adapt to what you find as the reality of the situation. Now, in software, it's more like you adapt to, the fluctuating marketplace. So
Mhm.
so that's the argument against that would be the best argument that I can come up with, excuse me, against uh, a waterfall approach is that by the time that you've actually, verified that you got what you wanted to be built, it might already be too late or obsolete, or that your competitor's already eaten your lunch. Now, with AI, I would imagine that you would get to be the one who usually eats the lunch, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it could even be something like, you know, changing tactics where you can kind of still be agile, but in bigger chunks or different size chunks.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but yeah, the thing that I say to a lot of people is like, a lot of, we go to a lot of these kind of like life critical, mission critical, finance critical
Right.
examples. Um, but you know, for especially for like the Web 2.0 generation, a lot of the things that they were building were like, you know, not life
Mm.
critical. And we were building them in these. fail fast kind of ways where like if Facebook goes down, like nobody's
Right,
life. I mean, maybe some people, but like it's not the same as like if your pacemaker runs out of memory
right,
or something, right?
right.
Or like
Yeah,
your airplane goes into garbage collection or something, and
right.
like definitely scales of severity, and like those at certain scales, it's all right if Twitter goes down for a couple days, right?
Absolutely.
And I think we'll probably see a lot of changing of techniques where like yeah, for these life critical things we'll probably be a lot more detailed and focused, but for like the 99% of things that aren't, we just kind of slop it
Sure.
up.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can live with that.
Yeah.
I think we're already living with that. I mean, there are iPhone apps every day that make me want to smash my phone with a sledgehammer. So I'm sure that
I mean, yeah,
it's not any worse. Let's put it
right.
that
And
way.
sometimes it's our bank apps, right?
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I left a bank because they had, you know, a crappy website.
Really.
And now I'm happy with the bank that I have because they have a really cool app. But I won't go into detail on, while we're recording. But um, okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to keep an open mind, and John and I yesterday, we started. Actually, the AI sort of chose to start the same place where I usually start with Salvo, and because we're using a strongly typed language.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead. Hey, he
No, sorry.
vanishes.
My cat always wants to come in when the door's closed and then leave a couple minutes later when she finds out
Right.
there's nothing fun going on in here.
That's fine. I probably should have closed my door, and if I had, then the dog would be barking at me. So it's six of one, half dozen of the other. But because of the nature of Rust, we're using Rust mostly
Mhm.
because I don't know it. So it's an interesting. Let's learn a new language while we're learning about
Yeah.
AI, while we're trying to figure out whether we can do TDD with AI. And what we asked it to do, it could do with the type system entirely. So,
Hmm.
if it compiles, it's good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the test looked like a tautology. It's like, does A equal A? Well, yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm like, oh, we left it that way. Uh, we've spent 4 hours and we come up with the same test each time. So,
Mhm.
so we'll have to adjust and tweak that. Um, and the other thing that there's a difference between what you and I were doing or what I was doing early. Like, gosh,
Mhm.
has it been 2 years?
An eternity ago.
I think
Yeah.
it was an eternity ago, and whereas, I was just writing the unit tests and the AI was happily writing code that I was happy with.
Hmm.
And I didn't really ever take that far enough to see whether it would continue to do that or if it would get wrapped up in its axles. But that was interesting. And then there's the whole what we'll call agentic or
Right.
what do you call it? Slop programming. Tongue in
Slot-driven
cheek,
development. Yeah.
slop driven development. So, what do you got for me today? Got anything
Um, Good,
blow
good.
my
Let my
mind?
cat out now. She's all done. Um,
Me too.
yeah, I mean, I guess it'll be very similar to the video that was shared out in our group the other day.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
but I've been basically using Claude Code
Okay.
uh, nonstop, and I figure we can kind of walk through the process that I would take for this, which is similar but different.
Okay.
Um,
That's what I was hoping for.
yeah. Sorry, just rearranging some of these windows here. Is this big enough? Need to be
Yeah,
bigger?
that looks great. It looks
Good,
great to
looks
me.
good.
I'm sure it'll look great on the recording. I do want to add one thing that I think I've mentioned before. I'll just say this. You've probably heard it, but I'll say it for the recording, is
Mhm.
that we are just building a game. However, I'd like to consider the possibility that we're building a game the way we would want to build financial. medical or transportation software. In other words, we want to know what it's doing. We want to know that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, that kind of thing. But in the
Yep.
small, of course, there's not much to Salvo. It's just very basic.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's one of the big differences of from what I saw in the video and the way that I kind of go about it, which is um I do big chunks. So like, if you think about where the bottlenecks are, you want to pull yourself out of being the bottleneck as much as possible.
Mm.
So like as much of the big chunks that you can get done and then kind of go in kind of loops of like big chunk, what's wrong, do a big chunk, what's wrong, do a big chunk. And so I'm very, very hands off of basically everything I do, and then run it, poke around, see what's missing, what it got wrong, and
Okay.
then really just kind of stream of consciousness, brain dump, like here's like 10 things that are wrong, do them.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it however you
Yeah.
would do it. And even if it turns out to be so waterfallish that you know that I can't stand it, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun.
Yeah. And so the first step is, we've got the PDF that you shared. This is really just get Claude to
Hmm.
load it, read it, see what's going on. And so I
Now, do
tend
you
to
have
use,
any? Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead. I sorry. I didn't-
Oh, I was just gonna say I tend to use Markdown files. So the first step here is what I'll do is have it kind of take what it understands about this document, do whatever changes we want, and then write that out to a Markdown file or a couple
Okay.
Markdown files.
Okay.
But you were gonna ask a question?
I was going to ask if you've already set up anything, or this is just like off the shelf Claude Code, or do you have some rules that you've given it
I stay
before?
pretty vanilla on all these setups. I
Okay.
think learning learning the techniques right now as things are moving so fast is very important. I've poked around at building skills, but a lot of
Mm,
times it's really just kind of winging it, and my understanding and my like intuition for it changes. So like even if I were to save something in a skill, I'd want to like play around with that prompt slightly the next time. So it would end
sure.
up being a little bit slower, but you know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it says,
the second, I don't know if you've seen the second video with John, but we did a lot of that. We did a lot of skill-based sort of building on it.
mhm.
And it was flashing by the screen so fast that I couldn't read it all, but it looked interesting. But my mind so far can grasp this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think the other thing too is like a lot of the vendors, and I think the other video I saw you were using open code.
Yeah,
A lot of the vendors are trying to build like custom things that lock you in. And so like by focusing on staying at the prompt level and not leaning into any of the vendor specific things, you can bounce around when the next best thing comes
nice.
out.
So you don't get
These,
trapped.
yeah, these techniques are a lot more kind of vendor. They're more like LLM focused rather than like harness or
Okay.
vendor specific.
Okay. Well, I
You
see
know,
that it actually extracted out something knowing that we're supposed to be using the TDD discipline, commit when tests
hmm
pass, push
Yep.
at least when completing a task. So
So
it read the whole thing.
seems
Yeah.
like it gets what we're trying to do. So what I would do here, and this is a little bit of me kind of playing around with it, is that uh, I tend to, beyond just like give it commands, try to build a world for it to understand what we're doing,
Okay.
and that kind of get some of the context out of my head and get it into its head, if you want to call it that, so
Sure.
that when we're doing it, it does things that we would assume it would do,
Hmm.
um, and doesn't kind of fight back of like this isn't necessarily this process. I'm like, yeah, but we talked about that. We're playing this game where we're doing something different.
Right.
So I would say, um, okay, so we're actually um, exploring what TDD looks like in an agentic programming world. Um, I'm working with the author of this Salvo doc to explore the idea. Um, and then uh, I talk to a lot of people about anthropomorphizing these things, but I tend to do it a lot. So I'm just like,
That's okay.
get it to opt in.
That's fine. John was say, he was commenting that he says please a lot to his AI, and I'm like, well, if you're in the habit of saying please to people, you're gonna probably say please to your AI.
Yeah, and I mean, I even sometimes if you have we have like a big long kind of back and forth bug fix kind of we're kind of trying to dig into something and it
Yeah,
finally works. I'll like let it know it worked, and then kill the session rather than just kill the session.
right.
Um, so it seems interested. Sounds like a genuinely interesting experiment. TDD is very specific. All right, so let's outline what we're gonna do.
Oh, look at the bottom. This is interesting. I
Yeah,
like this. We're the
I saw
product
the
owner. Go ahead. Your play product owner, pair programming
mm,
style, you observe. Yeah.
yeah. So I saw that that was one of the things you guys did on the other video. Um, is like start to ask questions and like get um get some details that are kind of missing or like get it to clear up any
Okay.
ambiguities.
Okay. Oh, I didn't realize this was a multiple choice. I think let's I want to play the product owner and the pair programmer, so I like all three of those. Sort of a combo of those. I don't know
Yeah.
how we'd do that or how we'd say that.
Well, I think first I want to get it to actually convert all of this to Markdown before we kind of
Okay.
get started.
Okay.
Um, so it's easier for both of us to read and modify. And let's also clear up any ambiguities before we get started. And
Hmm.
add it to that doc. So one of the things that's, I guess, to go back on what I said earlier, Claude has this ask user question tool. So um,
That's cool.
specified. Um, then we're going to use that doc. So this is one of the ways that I kind of do the big Earth move
Mhm.
to write out uh, user stories into a new doc and use the user stories to as a tracking doc for our progress as we write tests and implementation.
Interesting.
We and then let it churn a little bit. So it's going to ask us a bunch of questions, and this is where it's going to be similar to the that other video.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things, yeah, I'm just expecting it to ask us, is it two player or is it one player and computer and that kind of thing. And yeah,
Right.
that we can do that. There was also a really silly little the first thing that we found out was that we needed to know who was going to be the first player. Was it going to be the computer or the human? And we were like, oh, that's not in the document, is it? So I'm sure there's gaps. There were intentional and some unintentional gaps in that document.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That was one of the unintentional ones.
Oh, really?
I don't know
Um,
who's supposed to go first. Flip a coin?
well, I mean, I think that's a good thing to pull out for a question as somebody's doing that. Well, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
So here, one shot per turn or multiple shots. Which should we use?
Yeah. I've been assuming one shot per turn. It's interesting that these AIs figure out that there is that other option, multiple shots based on the number of surviving ships. I think my father and I used to play that on
Oh,
paper.
really?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. But I've always been going with the classic battleship style. So
Okay.
let's stick with
Um,
that
yeah,
so
I
that
mean,
we
I
can
guess
compete with John's.
you think of the word of salvo, it's like fire a salvo, right?
Right. Well, it's if it, and you can always disagree with me too and choose another one. I'm okay with that.
And we can always change it later.
If we change too much, then I might be going back and going, oh wait, didn't we decide? And I won't remember. So my
And
context buffer is smaller than its context buffer.
we've been trained the on the product management or project management side of like engineers hate when you go back on that, when you
Yeah,
give an answer and go back. Claude doesn't care that much.
yeah.
Happily, change back and forth as much as we'd like.
Well, I'll
Um,
let you in on a little secret, Scott. Extreme programming programmers never minded either. We
really?
always, especially I seem to remember uh, from very early on when I was working with Jim Shore, um,
Hmm.
we got to the point where we were so good at implementing anything that the product owner asked that we were getting bored
Huh.
because everything was too easy. We had everything tested. We could refactor
Hmm.
anything that we needed to. And when she started asking for really bizarre things, at first it was like, oh my God, this is going to be, impossible. And then it turned out to be, within a single sprint, we could get it done. It was like, that was pretty cool. So I'm comfortable with, and in fact, John and I sort of, I think you probably saw that. John and I were like, well, don't paint us into a corner. Keep it flexible. This could be something that we could configure later or change later. I don't know if that's necessary to say that because if it's doing test-driven development, if it's got the tests, it can refactor. So,
Yeah.
which is the other real reason why I'd like it to have comprehensive tests. So, but maybe it doesn't need them. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. Well, I think one of the things, is that I have looked at, I'll just pick some of these. I've looked at TDD a lot as like a tool for helping me design code.
Hmm.
And in a world where I'm not looking at code, I started, do I really care about the design?
Right.
Do I really just care about that it's verified? And then in that case, uh, I, I don't know. It's a lot to think
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, you've probably, I'm sure you and I have talked long enough to know that you have my theory about what software development is going to look like because of AI eventually. But I always assumed that the developers would be writing tests, but we wouldn't have to care about the implementation anymore. We wouldn't
Mm,
look at it. We wouldn't even need to have a high level language for the implementation. It could just write assembler if it wanted to, as long as the tests pass. So my vision, whether it, you know, stumbles upon the rocks of artificial intelligence or not, my vision is that developer slash tester slash BAs will be just writing specifications, and the software, the AI will say, all your specifications pass, so ship it.
yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, my thinking has changed a little bit in that, you know, I I think we'll see that for like the critical paths,
Hmm.
but for the less critical paths, I don't know if we will.
Not even that.
Because it's just going to be, things are going to move so fast that like bringing in testers, QA, BA in things that are non-critical when it's like over the holidays, they like Anthropic had a double Claude Code capacity week. So you got double your quota. And I think
Oh, okay.
I worked on like 10 different projects and it was something like 250,000 lines of code. And like you kind of can't have humans in the loop checking it at a very like low level at that
Right,
scale.
right.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got some ideas for things like that I wouldn't care if it's got tests or not, but as long as it works.
right.
One of the
Um,
things that I've been wishing for is, for example, like I said, we have Alexas, and I've been using Microsoft To Do, which is a little app on the phone, and it's also got a
mhm.
website. Very simple app. It's not as sophisticated as Trello. It's not as sophisticated, but it's just to remind me to do things. But I would love to be able to tell Alexa to add something to my Microsoft To Do thing.
Mhm.
In the old world, I would know that I would need to find the APIs in order to call the APIs, and I would do the test-driven development, and I would build that out. I would love to be able to, and I might cut this out of the video so that my brilliant idea doesn't get stolen. Not that I really care, but you know, if I could ask an agentic system to build that for me and it worked, there we go.
Yeah.
And
And
install it somehow. Make
I
it
think
available.
I think you can. I think
Yeah.
it would be pretty straightforward and it would tell you anything you need to do.
Yeah, that'd be
So
cool. So,
here's your first player question. Random player one, player choice.
how
Um,
about random?
all right.
Oh,
Uh,
player choice would be cool too, but random, yeah.
can a player fire at the same coordinate twice?
No, I would prevent that.
Okay. Tech stack. I'm gonna go with Ruby.
Oh yeah.
Or I think
No.
that's the only one I'm confident that I have installed, which I think would be the bigger hiccup I'd be worried about.
Well, and it's the most flexible of those four languages, I would say too. So it'll be the opposite of what John and I are doing. Rust is like, the anti-Ruby. It's very structured, very strict,
Yep.
kind of old school. Right now, I have no idea what it is like, but it feels kind of like a cross between C++ and Ada.
Hmm. I've done a project with Claude in Rust in the past, and kind of because I don't know the language, so I one of the things that I think was keeping me from leaning into this very heavily was like I have a lot of opinions on Ruby. And so when I would have it write Ruby projects, I'd look at the code and I'd be like, I wouldn't do it that way. We should change it this and like have really detailed opinions. But for Rust, I couldn't. And so it was
Right.
just like, here's here's how here's how we're going to build this. So I'm going to open it up and click around and be like, this is wrong. This doesn't work right. And then have it do it, even if it's, writing tests or writing type specs. Um,
Hmm.
so it created core domain, combat, game flow, extended. Let's change this up a little bit. Let's actually create a CLI based UI for it. um, and
Hmm.
create some stories so we can interact with the game
Nice.
and see the board and input moves. Um, and then,
Yeah, it put UI as Epic 4,
right.
which I
Um,
mean, we could take pieces out of every Epic and create a release
right.
plan. So,
And then let's say update. Let's see, it did started, not started, complete and in progress. Um, since we're doing TDD, I was thinking one way that I would probably do this is to just like again big Earth moves. And so say something like update the stories doc to have two check boxes per story, one for tests and one for implementation. We're going to do all the tests first and then implementation. Um,
oh, now are we? Are we? Hmm. Interesting. So test-driven development is always one test at a time.
I know,
but we're not going to
but
do that.
it's because, one, the design, I see that as like a lot of pulling the design out, but like
Yeah.
these things do are able to store so much more in their heads at once. And for
And
us, it's like
yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm catching on. And I think I might be able to if we let me ask you, who's going to be writing the tests, I guess.
it will. It'll write all the tests and then go through and make each one of them pass.
Okay. Okay.
We can go in and look.
Yeah. We're gonna have to go in
Uh,
and look.
but so this is kind of what where I was going with like do the big Earth move because
Yeah.
if we're in there checking each one,
Yeah.
like uh if it's 99% correct, like we're spending a lot of time just like looking at correct code when it could be churning.
Okay. Okay.
Um
I'm gonna resist. I'm gonna resist. Yeah.
First, and then implementation, committing in between each uh story. Uh,
I guess one of the things that I was thinking about was I can see us letting it take big chunks.
mhm.
And I can imagine that if it's not in a linguistic, like a programming language format, the tests, if we just give it specifications, and maybe you're not even going to be doing this, but I can imagine writing not even gherkin scenarios, but just like examples. And that would be, I still feel like that's the thing that I feel like I want to be able to do. Like, hey, if you place this ship and it starts over here, it's not going to be
Mhm.
valid because it's going to go off the board, right?
Yeah.
So I can imagine writing tests like that are sort of the fringe cases. I don't know. But you can,
That's I think, a good example of what I was talking about around like the critical path where like yeah, if there are things that these are edge cases, these are um
yeah, we can look for them and hopefully the only thing I'm concerned about is if it gives me 400 tests and I'm supposed to figure out whether it is testing that, I don't know how I do that. How do I figure out what it wrote? So, but
um
if the stories are small enough, maybe that's all we need. Something has to be small enough for the human mind to at least sort of get its head around it.
um yeah, and I think that's a little bit of where I'm going with the it's going to be writing a lot of code. We start to think about like uh why do we write tests? What are the roles they're playing? And like do we see us move into this world where you kind of have we'll probably have plenty of time to start to explore this idea of like do you create an interface for you to uh write these manual tests that you're thinking of or
Hmm.
these like edge case tests that that can then be part of the system so that if it's like obviously in a game it's something like the piece off the board but um you could think of if you're building like an e-commerce site customers should be able to add a product to their cart and check out and pay me money and if that
Right,
ever breaks we shouldn't deploy that change, right?
right.
And so that's something you probably want to make sure worked, right? But
Yeah.
like, reading a lot of the other kind of edge casey things. So it did um just doing a bunch here.
Oh,
So we
invalid
can
coordinate error. Interesting. Whoa.
do here. It's not going to auto update, but we can see here like the user stories file. So again, this is another one of those things where it does so much. It says like it did 200 lines of Markdown while we were chatting. Um, and I'm not going to sit down and read all that.
No, no, yeah, I
Uh,
understand. Same.
so here's coordinate class, ship
Now, what
class.
about Salvos? Oh no, Salvo spec is an MD. Never mind. There's the specs.
Right. Yeah, this is that document that we kind of it took your PDF and then we added some clarification in there.
Right.
Let's see. It's the ship object. Um, let's see, is it waiting for me? Yeah, so it's just gonna keep going through doing these stories and um yeah, pairing's also a very weird experience now with these things because it's really I've paired with another friend a couple times and it was really just like you kick off Claude and then you kind of BS for
Right.
10 minutes and then you kick it off again
Right.
which his comment was like yeah it's kind of like regular pairing but
I don't know. Yeah, it's with regular pairing, you're very it's shorter cycles, I guess. There are times when you're like, ah, the tests are passing. Now what do we do next?
hmm
Okay. Work on that. Ah, the tests are passing. What do we do next? Like I like to say, we
yeah
we have discussions in green, right?
yeah
In this case, I can understand that. And John and I experienced this too, where it's like you would be off and John would be off running like five different projects and
right
then come back when the projects are like, well, what do you want me to do now? And then he makes a decision. And he actually said it was easier for him to jump from project to project because their contexts were so different than it was to focus on one project or a piece of one project, like to break it up into little pieces, because he was never sure whether the multiple agents would be overriding or over, just making different decisions.
Yeah,
And I could
I'm
kind of
I'm in
see
that
that.
same boat. I know there are a bunch of people that like have started to do like Git work trees, and then you
Mhm.
have a bunch of different checkouts essentially that our agents are running on. But even that, it's kind of like there's so much overlap in my head that I'm like, and so I got tons of projects running at the same time that I just like kind of bounce in between.
Yeah.
Uh, which
Technically, so you would say you're the same. You won't do the work tree kind of thing on one project. Yeah, that's
yeah.
interesting. That's two out of two people that I've talked
Yeah.
to now.
It is popular though. And actually it looks like it didn't follow what I said where we were going to do all of the tests in one swoop and then do the implementation. It's doing it pure TDD where it's test and implementation, which
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
We're not gonna look and read any of this like as it's going, so
No,
um, you know, whatever. But it's running the tests and checking all this. Um
maybe that's what makes it happier.
uh but
I'm
But
not going
yeah.
to anthropomorphize that much.
Uh, but yeah,
Oh,
so it's
wow, it's
on.
already into firing. I wonder if it's well. And here's the thing. I guess I was expecting us to prioritize at some point, and that's one of the things that I missed or we didn't do is prioritizing all those stories. I would have liked to have seen it, placing the ships before it started firing on them, but uh, maybe it did and I'd missed
I
it.
I think it did. Here's the ship placement spec.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I guess that's kind of another principle that I've kind of what's the principle is probably the wrong word, but like something I've found myself uh, changing in my process of like we kind of come at problems with really specific ways of working that have worked in the past.
Hmm.
And uh, when the LLM doesn't do it that way, a lot of times you'll take a step back and kind of think, does this matter when the AI is going to do all of it?
Yeah.
And um, and almost like avoiding trying to swim upstream. Like if the AI is going to keep trying to do this and you keep having to be like, we talked about this, do it this way, it's probably better to just let it loose. Because finding more ways that kind of you can get out of the way, because these things are like massive. These can be massive earth movers
Yeah.
if
Well,
used a certain
just
way.
just looking at what we're looking at right now. Oh, go back,
Mhm.
go back.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's actually, I haven't like looked at it in detail, and I'm going to try not to. Normally, I would be like, did he get that right? You
Mhm.
know, uh, I see that it's like checking for invalid placement errors all over the place, and the comments even describe, rows 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is out.
hmm
So this is exactly what I
Right.
would be doing, except mine would look different. And it's interesting, it's already created a parser, which, well, and this is interesting because I think in my document, I don't use letters. I use numbers, just row and column numbers. But the traditional original game always used letters. And I see
Mhm.
that it's picked up letters and I'm fine
It
with that, but it's weird. Where did it get that, you know?
it asked it actually as we were talking, I kind of skipped ahead. It asked,
Oh,
do
okay.
you want this way or that way? Um,
Okay.
but so yeah, let's see. This is another tool that I've found called SCC, which is Slock, Clock, and Code, which kind of counts the source lines of code,
hmm
comments, blanks, and stuff, and just gives you a sense of like what uh, it uses this metric from like IBM in the 80s of like how much this would cost to rebuild, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
like 10 lines of code a day level.
Right.
Um, but just to give you a sense of the scale of like what just happened, like as we were talking, it's done 1,700 lines of code
And it would have cost us $36,000 to pay a team to do that, essentially.
at, I think it's at 75K.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, this is average wage of 150K a year. Following that metric would be 105,000.
Okay. But it is counting lines of code. I'd be interested to see whether they're, repetitive lines of code. And here's why. I've been giving this project
Mhm.
to teams. Now, most teams don't actually finish, but very early on, I had a JavaScript pair
hmm
build the whole bloody thing in
Yeah.
4 hours, you know? And it's like that is I mean, that's a standard that's really tough to match. Those two were just
Mm.
they were just not killing it, they were
Right.
killing it. But anyway, I
Mm.
haven't been able to do it in 4 hours. So
Um, how long have we been on here? 45 minutes.
yeah, I don't want to, I want to be cognizant of your,
I've got the time blocked off, so we're good.
okay, I blocked off 2 hours. So
Yeah.
if you want to take a break at any point, let me know and I'll let you know if I need a break
All right. Sounds good.
or if the animals decide to bother us.
hmm Let's moving on to the board renderer.
So
Uh,
this is a little bit frustrating for you having to watch one agent that,
well, I have somebody to talk to, so
oh, there we
it works
go.
out. Yeah. I was telling somebody when I've got like a couple projects going, it's taken a little while to kind of get comfortable and get up to speed. Almost like you remember like the first time as you start pairing that like exhaustion at the end of the day if you're pairing for like 8 hours a day, like
Yeah.
that same kind of feeling when you're like doing tens of thousands of lines of code a day, that just like keeping just like the cognitive load of that is pretty brutal.
Hmm.
Um, I've I've gotten but it's a learnable skill. It's the same way with pairing. Like you do it for a few years, it becomes pretty natural and comfortable.
Yeah,
Um, but a lot of times, like I used to listen to music while I was programming and stuff. Can't listen to music anymore because it's too distracting. Because you're
yeah.
like switching terminals all the time, making quick decisions and moving on.
Hmm.
Um, but
I've never been able to listen to music that has words and do
yeah,
anything else. I always have to listen to, instrumentals.
yeah, same.
Oh, it's
Like
building us a command line too. Nice.
yeah. But yeah, it's always been like words. It's always been like somebody's like saying numbers while you're trying to do math or count.
Right. Yeah, I've never understood people who could program with, their headphones on and they're listening to rock music and
I
like,
know.
yeah, interesting
But
stuff I'm seeing flashing by here. I like it uses terms like fermenting, cogitating.
hmm Oh, that
Um,
actually is another thing that I did that I kind of glossed over here is, having it use the markdown file almost like as a
yeah,
project management tool that like, put checkboxes here, do this, and your computer crashes, you kill a session, you start a new session. You can always be like, we're doing this, look at the user stories.md file and pick up where we left off, and it'll
nice.
have like kept track. I've tried using the typical product management software out there, but like
Hmm.
it ends up being a little bit more heavyweight
Yeah,
uh, than you need. And
I'm a 3x5 and 5x7 card
oh
kind
yeah.
of guy. It's got a whole stack right here, which I
Yeah.
guess I'm going to have to give up now.
It looks like it's gonna be
Let me let me know if it's asking us a question. I'm going to just see if we got
yeah.
somebody to take care of the dog here.
Oh, okay. Um, it's gonna time out here because
Oh,
it built a CLI UI and it doesn't really know how to interact with it. So I think it's doing like a
uh-oh.
yeah, it's gonna see if it or it's gonna see that it can't do it, and I can feel I can just kill it. Um, say
Yeah, because we'd be happy to test it manually.
right.
Interesting. You're right.
It's gonna time out in 10 seconds. Yeah.
This
Oh,
is one of the issues that we've had with AI, or the earlier forms of AI. Way back in the 80s, we wrote one of our projects was to write a game where the computer plays the game against you, and
hmm
it was Chinese checkers. And so many of the teams had this problem where it would get to the end of the game and then it would just hang. And
Yeah.
apparently, computers generally have a problem with, what do you do when you're done?
Yeah.
And maybe that's the same thing with this. It's like, oh yeah, I typed in a bunch of data, I typed in a bunch of moves, and now what?
Right.
If it hasn't figured out how to end the game yet, I can imagine it would be stuck forever.
Hmm. Um,
168 tests.
yeah.
Yeah, that's writing
Um,
faster than me.
right. But yeah, it that's one of the things too that like there's a big move to like these TUI, the terminal UIs,
Hmm.
but it's really hard for these agents to actually use them. So um there's been a lot of conversation around like what is the UI going to be like for these things and
Hmm.
uh or how do we do it? Because I think there's like Playwright MCP and Chrome DevTools MCP that people use to like it'll control the browser and like check the browser stuff, but
Yeah.
I kind of don't have a great way.
I like Playwright. I recommend that a lot for
Mhm.
BDD teams and such. Yeah, because you can do anything programmatically with Playwright.
Right.
It just seems like with this I would think it would be easier, standard in, standard out, but
Yeah.
maybe not.
Where we at? We're at 4.4. The
Maybe we should give it a story to have a quit, and if it, and whatever you do at the end, just say quit.
right. Looks like it'll
Clear
stop
screen
here.
between turns to hide opponent's board. Isn't that interesting? Well,
Oh,
so that's not necessary because we're playing against the computer, aren't we? So we're not actually going to see the opponent's board.
I think if we do two-player hot seat,
Oh, yeah. Is that what it thinks it's doing, or is that an option?
that was one of the, as a player, I want to play against another player.
Okay.
But so yeah, it looks like down here, computer opponent.
Yeah.
So it's going to say it's done at 4.5, and then we can just say
Yeah.
create the
See, I want to
matrix
be able to
table.
ignore that story for now. I want to keep it simple. But hot seat, that makes sense, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
I mean, so that's another example of the you know, big Earth move and then kind of come back is I'm not going to read these 200 lines of stories, but
Right.
like I could see it kind of scroll by and be like, ah, skip that. Or when we get to a point, we can just say, let's get rid of that feature, let's get rid of that feature, rather
Yeah.
than, we spend the first half hour reading and going through and commenting on that document before it even gets to writing any code.
Right.
Um, let's just do 5.2 for the computer opponent. See.
Well, so random ship placement is listed as optional. 5.1 is pretty important too. If it can't set up its own board, how is it ever going to play? I thought it did ship placement.
Oh,
It did ship placement.
this is as a player, I want the game to randomly place my ship so I can start
Ah,
playing
okay.
faster.
Okay. Yeah, that should be easy for it. It's already doing it for its own board.
Right.
Huh. This
Um,
is interesting. We might
I
have the whole thing running in less than an hour.
think we will. Um,
John's experience, I don't know, did I tell you about John's experience with
yeah.
that? He did this with a candidate, a
Mhm.
hiring candidate. Said, let's sit down and use agentic coding and let's build Salvo.
Yep.
And they actually built a game, and you could play it, but it was easy to win because the game was always randomly choosing places to fire, even after it hit something, it would
Mm.
still just randomly fire, even though it had found a vulnerable point in your game. But so Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Mhm. Yeah, that actually it's interesting to think about like an agentic coding interview because we basically got a chance to hang out while the computer coded and
Right.
like it'll give you a sense of like do I want to sit next to this person and just kind of BS all day every day?
Me too.
That's the real interview. It's like we can get the agents to do it, but like can we just like uh
Yeah.
hang out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
What is this other person thinking about while this is going on? What is
right.
the concern? Yeah.
Okay, so it wants me to run bin salvo. So it's the
Let's
moment of
try it.
truth. All right, are we
Single
doing
player.
let's do single player.
Yeah, up to you. Oh,
Uh,
that's weird. Okay.
place your carrier. Um,
Position and
position.
orientation. Nice.
Yeah. All right, so let's say A6
Yeah.
horizontal.
Yeah. What?
You
Let's try breaking one too. Okay, you're
okay?
placing the battleship size 4. Let's place it at like I2 horizontal and see what it says.
Invalid placement. Ships can't overlap, touch, or extend beyond the board.
Nice.
Let's try this.
Sweet. Okay.
We're gonna try to do like C5 vertical. Yeah, same
Those
error.
those overlap. Okay.
Yeah. So let's do H6 vertical.
Nice.
Uh,
I like yeah, this is interesting. What was R? What is that?
where do you see? Oh, that's
It's
the
RRR.
cruiser
Cruiser. Okay.
because we already have C for
Ah,
uh,
gotcha.
C was the carrier.
Right. Carrier. Okay. Just curious.
And then this would be, let's say, size one, so F3, enter to continue, and we crashed.
Oh,
Um,
fun.
all right, so
What was the crash? Just it didn't.
I'll
Oh, okay. No, you're not even gonna. You're like, hey, it crashed. Tell it.
pretty much.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, here's what we so computer place all the ships, computer place all the ships, and then uninitialized constant game loop string IO.
Interesting.
Um,
Game loop run. Hmm. Wow. This is wow. This is disturbingly enjoyable.
now we probably want the random placement so that we can go in and like test the app, but instead of doing this all over again, um,
Right.
let's do A9 horizontal. Okay. Ships placed, enter to continue, computer.
I6
Okay, here we
miss.
go. It
Enemy
shut.
waters. I like that tracking board. Okay. Yeah.
Um, okay, so we can do this, but while it's here, a lot of times while I'm doing it, I'll make notes and think about like, oh, I want this, I want that. And so, um, say, okay, we're playing the computer, but I want it to look like, um, I guess in Battleship, you had yours and the computer and your opponents, so you can like track, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It was doing that. It was
Yeah,
showing us both.
right. I
But
was going to say
what?
I want them next to each other, but maybe not. Um,
Oh, okay, okay.
where should we try?
Yeah, it's up to you. Hey, so I wonder
Hey,
what it's doing with that. Why it's showing us two lines of A, B, C, D, F, G, H. Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Huh, that's weird. That's a bug.
yeah. Okay. Um, we hit.
Oh, nice, nice.
So now do F6. We missed.
What did he do? Did he? Oh, he did take a turn.
Fires at D6. D6 missed. So here's the O's that they missed.
Oh, interesting.
Uh,
Not X's.
well, X's
Oh, I
are
guess.
where we hit. Yeah.
Okay,
So we hit here and here. They missed at J8. So
nice.
seems, well, I guess we need to try to finish this game right.
Maybe. Or
Um,
I don't know. That might take a while.
yeah. But yeah, so we're at, a little over an hour. We also kind of chatted in the beginning before we kind of
Yeah,
got started. We'll have to look at the recording to see when the coding actually started. But yeah, under an hour, we have an interactive Salvo game
yeah.
that we can play.
Pretty
Um,
interesting. The one thing I would be interested in is what it does once it hits.
okay.
We're getting lucky.
So we found the four. It's still missed. Um, I think it is also kind of doing it randomly as well. Um,
Unless, yeah, unless it's trying to that those O's that are from like B10 to D8 kind of look like it's trying some kind of, I
hmm,
don't know why it would do that though. Random is best. Oh, we sunk something.
yeah, we sunk their
Wow.
carrier. Okay, so now let's see two. They're gonna, so they're getting closer.
Yeah.
Um, let's say uh, I3.
Okay. He's still missing. Wow. Your
G2.
placement was very clever.
Ah, it hit us finally. So
Okay.
yeah, we got an X here.
Okay. So now it should pick one of
Yeah,
the other locations near there.
yeah, let's see. A3.
Yep.
Oh, it didn't. It looks like
Oh,
it might still
it
be.
that's different.
Yeah.
It's probably
Well,
still random. Okay.
yeah. Well, so one of the things that we can do is, we're playing the computer player. Can you show us the code and explain it of the computer player's strategy? So I have Vim open, but it's usually been for like looking at Markdown files, really.
Yeah.
You can just have it extract and describe the code that's
Okay.
going on. So
Yeah.
here's an example of that, and we'll see uh, pure
Why
random.
it's dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
it's 1,000 attempt safety limit, shot selection, um, why it's dumb. Um, let's actually implement um, difficulty levels. Keep the dumb version as easy. Then let's add hard that uses a strong like salvo, a strong
Salvo.
strategy.
Yeah.
Can you talk through three potential strategies that would be very difficult to play against? And so this related to that post yesterday that you were reading. One
Yeah.
of the things that I'll do is, sometimes there's a tendency to be like, write me a secure write me a secure whatever, or like write me a
Right.
good logging system. And like good and secure can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And so the first step is what I'll do is almost like have it expand that word and like tell me an example of what a secure authentication system is. Tell me an example of what a good logging system in Rails looks like. And then it'll
Okay.
do this, right? Where
Well, before you
it's
do that, though, one of the things that it said, if we scroll up,
uh-huh.
where was it? The smarter strategy right there in the middle of the screen.
Hmm.
Now, could we have just said, hey, do that instead?
Exactly. And that's pretty much what we'll do here. We
Okay.
could just say, yeah, do the smarter AI.
But what is this other getting us? Yeah.
This one, here's three strong strategies from simpler to most sophisticated. Uh,
Okay.
Hunt and target mode, checkerboard plus hunt and target, or probability
Ooh.
density map.
Oh, I see. So rather than starting with random, it's starting with I'm gonna shoot every other cell until I find something.
Hmm.
Wow, that's clever.
Um, yeah, so there's the checkerboard, and then once you find one, fire on the, fire around it.
Probability density map. Calculate the mathematical probability that each cell contains a ship. Wow. Okay.
Right. So yeah, let's go nightmare mode. Let's implement strategy three. Set as nightmare mode. Uh,
That's funny. You do like you're like, okay, we've got dumb over here. Nightmare mode.
right. Do you want to win or do you want to lose, basically? Um,
Nice.
and then we can let it go. But yeah, but so like
Goodness.
this is an example, right, of one of the first things in that post where it's tell me what good looks like, and then say, okay, do good, do that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then there's a bunch of different ways that you can do it. Uh, but this is I'm still trying to figure out the mental model of it, but like, there's a lot of context baked into a lot of the words that we're using to talk to each other. We've got our, you know, all the XP and Agile history. So like when we use a specific word, that means a lot to you and me, but to an AI, it might not necessarily know that. So you get it to kind of
Yeah.
like decompress or uncompress that word into a lot more. And then you can start to like almost like, blow it up, change the things that it gets wrong, and then do it, which is
Interesting.
kind of the user story example where like I've talk to a lot of people that are like, that's not a user story. Or like, I have a really specific idea of what a user story is, but like, what I'm using it for here is just shorthand for take this, 200 line design doc and
Yeah.
expand it into a bunch of like small pieces that we
Yeah.
can then go in and track. Um, so let's see.
Yeah. It's
Choose shot nightmare. Uh,
hilarious.
and then
Easy. Random shots. Nightmare. Probability AI. With a little flame.
Uh-huh.
Stupid. Actually, that's interesting. It's got emojis in there, and I wouldn't mind like working with the AI or no, the UI
Hmm.
so that it uses certain like when it hits you, have the flame instead of just the X.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay.
and oh, oh, you're gonna just go for it. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
let's do it. Um,
Wow, you're very generic with that too. Here, I'm thinking very specifically. I'm like, well, what would an O be instead of an X? Yeah, XP is a flame. O, what would it be? You're just going to let it decide.
Yeah, and
Nice.
we can go in if we're like, yeah, it probably shouldn't be you know, whatever it is.
Cucumber.
Right. We can that then it becomes like, oh, there's just like one character to change, you know?
Yeah.
Um, update the test
Now
to
I
use
need to
fancy
update
false.
That's interesting.
hmm
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's creating it as an option.
hmm Oh, look at that. It's gonna be like kind of a wave, like a
I like
splash.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I was thinking
Oops.
about your comment before about like, sometimes you end up with really verbose, uh, duplicated code.
Hmm.
That's another thing that we can kind of go through and kind of solve. Um,
Yeah, I see that it looked like the stuff that we were just looking at. There's going to be a lot of if else, if else, if else, you know.
mhm.
If I'm in this mode, do this, else do this. If I'm in this mode, else do this. And there's, there's a simple pattern for both of those, which is, a strategy pattern. So it could have a strategy for what does the UI look like? You can have a strategy for am I in nightmare mode or am I in stupid mode? Right.
Right.
So uh, if it used, even just object-oriented approach, that would be great.
Mhm.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, look at that.
Water, a miss, a hit, a sunk ship. Oh, what's this carrier? Battleship, cruiser, destroyer, submarine. Well, that'll be interesting to see what that looks like. I like it.
The problem is uh,
Oh,
they're not the same width.
they don't scale correctly.
Yeah. So wait, what's the battleship and the cruiser?
Yeah. This is very much being in the product owner's seat instead of the software developer's seat. This is very
Absolutely.
interesting.
Absolutely.
Or I should say product advocate seat because I try not to use certain
Mm.
terms that are just Scrum specific all the time.
Yeah,
Being
it's very much like, there definitely are advantages to like knowing how it probably did it under the hood,
Mhm.
but uh, I don't really use that skill that much these days. Um,
Yeah.
but so okay, so it did that. What we can do here is let's kill this, and if you can
Was
see
it
it,
changing it while we were playing it? Is this our game? Because it looked like those are the
it does
positions
kind
of
of
our
look like the
ships,
positions.
but they can't
Uh,
be because we were in the middle of a game.
yeah, that's weird.
Maybe it's
Uh,
just its way of showing us.
it's wild.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so here, context left till auto compact. I tend to, if I'm just kind of going through stories, I'll just let it keep going. But like, we're going to start something new. I generally just start a new session. So,
Okay.
we'll do this and then,
It's a good place for a quick break too,
okay. I'll
because
kick
I've
this
been
off and we'll
drinking
take
lots of tea.
yeah,
Yeah.
get some more water. Um, and we can chat next steps. So it's just gonna browse through and it'll stop. So
Sautéing.
yeah, saute this code base for us while we go and get something to drink.
This is fun. I don't know if you've I have to tell you, this interface that you've been using
Hmm.
is a lot more intuitive for me than the one that John was using.
Oh, really?
The way that John was using it, I don't know whether it was maybe because he switches back and forth between, but you've been doing that too. You switch back and forth between screens, and I'm fine
Hmm.
with it. There's just something about this that feels a little bit more like a conversation. Well, I guess the reason why is because John would step back and work on a skill, and
Hmm.
he was doing a lot of prompt management or prompt
Hmm.
refactoring, if you will, or prompt enhancing, I guess.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like we're doing that here, but we're still getting a lot done. So I'm liking Claude Code, I guess is what I was trying to say.
You can do the skill process, but like for me, it's definitely like I don't know, each time like, hey Claude, check this out, explore the app, let me know when you want to chat. Like
Yeah,
you could set up a skill that's like every time you open this, run the like welcome skill. But uh I don't know, it keeps me entertained to just be like, you know, I'm back. Just
right.
kind of like play with it.
So do you know one of the things that he liked about what was the name of the tool he was using?
Open code, yeah.
Open Code, was that it would tell him how much money he had physical, actual, real money he had spent.
Yeah.
Do you, do you have any idea how much this has cost you?
So Claude has a subscription, and so I'm
Yeah,
on the subscription plan. So I can see we'd have to go back to that other session, but
I guess it wouldn't really be how much you've spent, but how much, I don't know,
yeah. So my
token.
current week, I'm at 7% of my capacity.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
uh hasn't used, and I had I was doing a whole bunch of stuff this morning and yesterday and everything. So
This is
uh
a drop in the bucket then.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what somebody, Alistair Coburn asked about, getting in on Twitter about getting into Claude Code and worried about, API costs and stuff. And my answer was, you really have to go out of your way to hit the capacity on the top plan, and I'm not even on the top plan.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. You ready to take a break?
Let's do it.
I'm
I'll
going to
be
go
back
ahead and
in.
hit pause on the recording too. So,
Okay.
recording. Okay.
All right.
Well,
So,
where are
we can
we?
go and test out the changes that we made for the UI. But while we're doing that, I figured we could do something to address a comment you said earlier, which was there might be some, you know, duplicated code or inefficient
Hmm.
code in there. So, um, let's also build a world to make this, give Claude some context of what we're doing. So let's say.
Are
Um,
you saying that we're going to set it up so that it's refactorable so that maybe humans can also work in there or maybe it's more
Uh,
efficient or what's the purpose of the refactoring, I guess.
yeah.
We have to think
Well,
about that.
that's a good question. Is like why even worry about refactoring? But yeah, maybe this is maybe this is a waste. Um, but
I'm maybe not, but I just, I mean, if I wanted to look at the code, I would be happier seeing um, isolated responsibilities isolated in, in maintainable modules of some kind, object-oriented or functional or whatever.
okay,
I think there's value still, but it might be more from the, if we think about it from the testing standpoint, it's if I need to figure out what test is missing, I need to be able to understand what the code is doing. I might want to look at it. I might want to look at clean code.
so start there. Just get it to
Hmm.
talk about tell it what we're doing, or we're not necessarily doing a TDD workshop, but
Right,
that's a believable thing that we would want to do, or
right.
that kind of situation, it's believable that we'd ask this kind of question, you
It's
know.
interesting that yeah, this is now your new sort of, well, maybe not new, but your thought process is very helpful to to the LLM and also to us is this notion of, don't just tell it to go do it, but to, because I would have, being naive, I would have said, go build out strategy patterns for those things that are, if then else, if then else, if then else. And
Hmm.
rather you're saying, let's think about this. Let's chew on it for a bit.
Right.
Let's teach the LLM what we want and then
Hmm.
see if we want to bother doing it.
Right. It has all the knowledge of, of humanity in there somewhere. You just need to
Right.
find a way to get it out.
Right.
Um, I had a conversation that's maybe a little bit more. We have much clearer examples now, but back then it was way more kind of out there that like every every permutation of characters that an LLM can produce up to the context limit is possible. It's
Mm,
your job to like focus a lens to get it to output those characters. And so a lot of the like skill is almost it's very woo-woo, but here's an example of, we could say strategy pattern, but like we actually care about single responsibility principle, dry, tell don't ask, law of Demeter, composition over inheritance, small methods with intention revealing names, and like all of these things we care about.
right.
But and it knows it. It just if we would have said, make the code cleaner, it would have tried a couple things and been like,
Right.
is this clean? So yeah, so here for the workshop, and I think it's very much like a kind of an improv game where we're like, let's invent this world, and it's just gonna yes and you, and so as specific as you can get in that world, the more fun you're gonna have. These principles give us a vocabulary. Which of these resonate? Um, Scan the code base and make a to-do list for refactoring it and looking at all of these principles.
Woof. You do
And
like big chunks.
you find them, um, reference the principle, and put it all into a refactoring tasks.md file with
Nice.
explanations for each one.
So we're not
Um,
going to make it do it yet.
yeah.
Cool.
First, it's, go through, make the plan.
Yeah.
And then for your strategy pattern, let's say also think about object-oriented patterns we can use to clean things up. Recognize one, mention that in the doc as well. Okay.
Nice.
And so that'll be working for a little while.
I like to refer to uh, the else is a code smell. One
Hmm.
of the things I like to say, especially, and there's a what did we used to call it? Poor man's polymorphism, which would be a case statement. If you have more than one case statement based on the same value, you have poor man's polymorphism.
I threw in else as a code smell in there, so let's see what it comes back with. Let's go
You
ahead and
did? Oh, wow.
or I
You're
just threw it.
fast.
I just threw it here, like as it was going.
That's funny. Okay. Yeah, we got the empty ocean.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
J1 vertical, J7 vertical, E7 vertical, and A10 vertical. Okay.
Whoa.
Our turn. We're
Now
playing
did
night.
it Nightmare AI? Yes. Did we so is it deciding based on a coin toss, so to speak, who goes first, or
I
did
think
we
we have
just
it
say
set
we
so that I think we have it player goes first. Yeah.
okay, that's fine.
So we've got the little miss.
Poof. Nice. Poof.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it's putting it on ours and it's putting it on theirs as well.
Yeah.
Nice. so
Move.
far.
Um, you call one out. B7.
Yeah. Let's see, he missed. Let's do H3.
Another miss. So it
It,
looks
what
like
does he
it's
do? Yeah.
good.
So he's missing too. I guess he's doing, oh, that's right. If he had done the other pattern, like hit the every other one starting at
Mhm.
A1, we'd have been toast.
True.
So this is interesting.
Yeah. It looks like they're kind of starting from the center and moving out.
Yeah.
Oh wow, they're really close to this this one.
That one's he's in trouble.
Hmm.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say E8.
Oh,
Dang.
yes.
I think we should start hitting along the edge.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's start hitting some of those edges.
C7 miss.
Wow, he's so close.
Um, nothing. Still nothing.
I think it's ready to ship it.
Yeah.
Now, how can we monetize this?
Oh, here we go. Um, so it created this doc for us.
Oof.
Yeah, let's see. Um, all right.
It was already thinking, but you were able to add else is a code smell? Or
I just threw, you can kind of type and it'll, yeah, so it did actually
it'll
didn't read it that time, but uh, let me add the principal and scan. So it's going to take that principal and scan the code base for
okay.
stuff. Let's see the doc while we've got it here.
Else is a code smell. Null pointers are evil. I didn't see any null pointer issues in any of the code. So.
Right. All right. So dry violation. Every piece of knowledge should have a single representation. Oh wow, it's using uh, define method for each type of ship. So instead of self.carrier, self.battleship, it is doing dynamic method generation in Ruby.
Oh, weird.
Player and computer player duplication. So it's pulling
Oh, let me
shared.
take a look at that. Place ship. Place ship. Okay, okay. I see what it's doing. Yeah, I had to shift from whatever to Ruby. Why is it doing
Yeah, it
that?
looks like it's moving stuff like place ship, all ships placed up to a base player class. Coordinate generation duplication. Move neighbors to coordinate class.
Impressive amount of code that it's written. And it's
Right.
readable. It's already pretty readable.
Yeah.
I like that it's using regular expressions.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, there's your strategy pattern.
Yeah. Fancy plain conditionals. If fancy. Yep. Plain text style and emoji style. Is that also picking a strategy for that? What was it doing
Yeah,
with
so
those?
that's a
Or was it,
strategy.
or yeah, it was using it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Board renderer
Yeah.
style. Okay. Board renderer has a style. Nice. Should we tell it to implement all the strategy patterns that it's identified and then just run all the tests just
Sure.
for fun, or would you have it do all of those?
Uh, I mean, I would probably just say to do all of it, but we can pick one
Wow.
out. Let's say long method chains, magic strings.
Yeah. These are all good.
Oh, look at that. Both
What
branches
is
are
that?
identical.
The conditional does nothing. Both branches are identical. Oh, weird. Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that's from copy paste modify.
Yeah.
Mm. The approach of the junior developer.
But yeah, there's what
Understandably so, by the way,
600
for
lines.
the
Oh, here we
record.
go. This is so it also kind of gave us a priority list. So we'd be
Oh,
like, yeah, do the priorities. Um,
yeah. Let's see.
yeah, board render strategy was medium
Medium.
priority.
Eliminates significant duplication. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. So let's do um, the else smell section covers five specific locations where guard clauses or polymorphism would improve readability. And let's say, okay, go ahead and do the high and medium priority ones, making a commit in between each, and go back to playing our game.
yeah, okay. You didn't tell it to run the tests, though. Hopefully, it already knew to do that.
Oh, let's see. It's making the to-do list. Oh, it says I'll work through each refactoring task, running tests after each change to ensure nothing breaks, then committing.
Nice. Okay. This next part is sped up for your convenience. While Claude refactored our code, we played a round of Salvo in nightmare mode, and we were evenly matched. Near the end of the game, it was down to hunting for each other's submarines.
We gotta
Okay.
beat this nightmare. What?
Oh,
We did it!
you did it.
All right, then game
Game over.
over. And it just ended.
Oh, nice. At least it knows the game. It did the game over. Ready
Yep.
Player One.
Um, all right. While we were playing, it was refactoring.
Nice.
There's actually another thing that I've found is like uh, I'll sometimes if I've got like a bunch of projects and I'm like, going rapid fire, but sometimes it's like, oh, I need to um one really interesting thing. Uh your programming speed and your building speed is much faster,
Hmm.
but your learning speed is still the same. So like you build something, you get it in customers' hands,
Hmm.
you're still going to need that week, 2 weeks of them using it, asking questions, getting the analytics that like you kind of don't want to use all this speed on a particular product because you don't want to be like, all right, we're 300 features past and like Customers are like,
Ah,
I have time to use two of them. And then you're like, next week there's 300 new features. And so you end up going kind of crazy. Um,
interesting.
so one of the things that I've started to do is like I'll have like a rapid phase where I'm building out a whole bunch of stuff and then use it for a while
Hmm.
and either do something else or a lot of times I'll read a blog post or doing something else while this is going on. And I saw uh, somebody said like I was in this co-working space and I saw somebody kick off Claude Code tasks, switch over to chess.com and play a rapid, like a 5 minute game, and
Oh,
then finish the 5 minute game and go back to Claude. I was like, oh, that is hardcore.
oh, that is hardcore. That's somebody who's conditioned their brain.
Right. Just
Wow,
need some kind of simulation. It's better than going on Twitter or something, right?
for sure, for sure. What's Twitter?
It was this thing back in the day that we used to post pictures of our
Oh,
lunch on.
yeah. I've really enjoyed this session with you. This has been awesome, and I'm glad that I finally was able to step back from I gotta see the tests. I gotta see all the tests.
Yeah, you can we clean this up a little bit. We can check them out. There's let's see.
Where, yeah, where is this getting uh
We did $250,000 worth of 1980s IBM software development work.
that's from the 1980s? That's like that'd be like $1 million now, right?
You're right.
Jeez.
Um,
Okay.
but
Funny.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
Just to build a silly game.
yeah,
In my father's day, they used to build these games just to demo the hardware,
right. Huh.
and that was it. And so many sophisticated games came out of that. They were a lot of fun. But oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
This is all gravy now. You're I don't
That was
want you
just
to.
showing off.
Yeah,
Um, the one of the things,
this is
actually, a
great.
really interesting thing that I've seen and uh, occasionally get a chance to try, but it's like when it happens, it feels very magical. Is building kind of like one-off temporary dev tools for yourself. So
Ooh,
like you're like, I'm debating between like two algorithms. Can you build a visualizer for me so I can like interact with them and see how it would solve different problems? And like
mm,
it'll spin it up like that. You have something to interact with.
nice.
Um, I actually built it. I saw, I don't, uh, I'm not gonna, the CEO of Shopify posted, he got a CT scan or MRI,
Mhm.
um, and got the data and then had agents build a visualizer for him so he could go in and like look at the scans and the data and interact
Nice,
with it.
nice.
So it's basically it's lowered the cost of you to just like build these kind of things for you to explore your code base,
Oh, cool.
your application. Let's see.
Well, that actually reminds me of one of the other ideas that I had. Oh, look at this. It looks like UML. It's got the diagram reversed, the arrows reversed in lines 16 through 18, but I still get it. I'm assuming that player isn't subclassing from computer player,
Right.
but the other way around. Impressive. And and of course in that old style green color makes me feel so at home.
hmm
Claude Code knows me so well.
There's a
An
different style.
interface, the style. Okay, style is an interface. What does that even mean in Ruby? Is it just it's a module? It's probably a module.
I don't, I guess I don't. That's a really interesting call out because Ruby doesn't really have interfaces. It's more like this is the expected interface for a
Right.
style.
I guess it's
Um,
probably just, yeah, it's duck typed, right? So
yeah,
it's everything is an interface is its public methods. Yeah.
right. Strategy.
Nice. Nightmare strategy. It should call random strategy stupid strategy, though, actually. Let's be honest about these
Yeah.
things. Oh, look at this, a sequence diagram. Wow.
So this is like another example of, you don't necessarily need to look at code because you can look at the diagrams and be like, you know what, I actually don't think we should have this be here.
Hmm.
Let's change this out.
Interesting. Wow, it's basically creating documentation,
Right.
like lots of documentation.
Hmm.
What is it saying about start coordinates here? What does that even mean? Oh, yeah, okay, I see. Ship placement. This is exactly what I would have expected.
Right.
If you place a ship horizontally, it's from left to right.
Hmm.
Vertically is from top to bottom. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
And that's something we were looking at this. We're like, you know what? It actually should go the other way.
We could change it.
We
Yeah.
can change it. But this is a way for
Wow.
us to kind of see this. Here we go. Here's the visualization of the probability
Right?
strategy.
Interesting that 10 J10 is 1, but A1 is 2. Hmm. Interesting.
Hmm. Well, let's say,
Oh, this is like ha partway through a game though, because there's a hit at D4, so it's
um,
adapting this based on what it's already fired upon. That makes sense.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Because it kind of just moves it this way.
Yeah. Okay.
What have we hit? We hit the one.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's K? Adjacent to hit. I see. Yeah.
But I
In
guess
other words,
there's a probability that this is, yeah, well, okay.
oh,
So,
zero, the O is missed. Yeah, I see. The
yeah,
O is missed.
sorry.
Gotcha.
Well, let's do this. So that is interesting. So let's ask it. Um,
And
this,
I bet you it won't say, "You're right. That's an oversight on our part."
yeah. Well, this is actually, it's one of the things that I've been trying to practice a lot as I'm working with these things in all different ways is, leaning into that feeling of, oh, that's interesting. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
That's a place to learn. Um, I've
Human
actually,
curiosity.
yeah, and like cultivating that I think is very important.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of talk about like, oh, this is ruining universities. Students are just like getting ChatGPT to write their papers.
Yeah.
But I started and kind of fell off because it was taking me too long of this book club where they're reading Candide by Voltaire, and the suggestion was read it with an LLM next to you.
Interesting.
And I started doing it. It was so interesting because you're like, what's he talking about here? Is this something historical? Oh, this gives me this idea, and just like leaning into that and having this
Ah,
because it's one of those books that there's like so much literature analyzing it and all this stuff, so like it knows everything about it.
yeah.
Um, and it was amazing.
And all the
Uh,
other analyses of, what did he mean by this and that sort of thing. Like Robert Frost's Road Less Taken poem. There's so many different interpretations of that, and they're all out there, I'm sure. So what is it telling us?
let's see.
Oh, fresh board.
Hmm, okay. a good catch. Looks like it was a bug in the diagram. Oops, sorry.
No, I doubt it. Maybe. Think? Oh, well, maybe. I thought maybe it was changing over time, but based on what ship had already been discovered, but maybe not.
Mm,
Okay. So far away from the ship that was fired upon. Okay.
wait, let's see.
Yeah. Discombobulating.
Yeah, sometimes this is another thing that I've tried to get better at is as these models have gotten better, they're much more eager to just like go and start doing stuff. So
Mm,
like that's another place where let's create this world where it does exactly what I want. So like sometimes you'll be like build a plan and then it'll build the plan and then start coding. So
mm.
sometimes you have to say like, I need a plan to paste into my Jira ticket, even though you're just going to tell it to run it anyway.
Uh,
If you're going to paste it into the Jira ticket, it's not going to start coding. It's really just giving you the thing you want.
right, right. Oh, so my original numbers were just wrong? Oh, okay. Weird that it would do that.
Right. Um, and another thing to also be I don't know, also keep in mind is that uh a lot of what these do, they output stuff that looks done when really it's a draft. And
Ah,
so, yeah, being aware of like keeping an eye on things that jump out that look weird. It's, you know, you're not you're not looking for, punctuation. You're looking for like, is this idea something I'm actually trying to do? Which is harder to do with something that looks so polished,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Like what we just caught. I mean, it looked
Exactly.
right. I made a hypothesis that somehow the probabilities had changed based on what was fired, which,
Mhm.
in hindsight, for the corner that's so far away from what was fired, that didn't make a whole lot of sense. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of neat. And it turns out it had made a mistake, or it had made a draft. I'm actually, yeah. I want to set aside some of your time uh, at the end of this session, once I turn off the recording, to talk to you about two quick things that are not related to what we've been working on here. So I just want to kind of do time management notation there.
Sure. I will stop this share then. I've got 12 minutes before my next thing, so
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to run right up against the thing. Okay.
thanks.
So uh, I'll stop the recording now. This has been fun. A lot of fun. That
Yeah.
was, and very educational. So
Well,
thank you for that.
well,
All
yeah.
right,
Thank you
recording
for
set.
letting me do it. It was fun.